We're here for another writing vlog, specifically a rewriting vlog. So I'm working on Project Road Trip 3, which is the third book in the Road Trip Snapshot series. We've got book 1, which is Meet Me at the Summit, book 2, which is Let the Rebel Fall, and book 3, which is Untitled. Now, noted, book 3 is actually going to be like a standalone, so it's more of like a companion novel than it is a true book 3, because you don't have to read it in consecutive order with the other books. You can read it first, or you can read it as the third book in the series. So today I'm going to be doing my draft 2 edits. I wrote draft 1. I vlogged the entire process. I wrote it for National Novel Writing Month in November, and now it is January, and it is time to do rewrites, because next month the plan is to send it off to beta readers, and I'm excited. So I haven't been this excited for a book in a long time. I've learned a lot. I just feel like I've learned a lot as an author. Like, I know very much what I want my goals to be with this book. So I outlined the book a while ago, and I outlined it using the Save the Cat method. Now, recently I read this book here, which is Seven Figure Fiction by T. Taylor. I cannot recommend this book enough. I love it just as much, and perhaps possibly even more than the Save the Cat method book. This basically just tells you how to make your book a bestseller, how to give it that wow factor, and it's using this thing called universal fantasies. They're very similar to tropes, but different. And it basically is what makes a reader attached to a book. So even if you're an author who might have bad writing, people could still love your book because you use universal fantasies and you make your story just something that people can't get enough of. And I'm not saying I'm a bad writer. I actually think I'm a pretty decent writer. Thank you very much. But I'm just saying, whenever you add this to your book, it's just like a match made in heaven. So I have a game plan, and right now the game plan is to sit down and to re-outline my book, because my book, the way I wrote it, is technically different from the outline that I originally wrote. And I'm going to re-outline my book in my novel outline planner. So this is a planner that I have up for sale. It's a part of the book launch planner series, and I'm just going to go to the blank pages in the back that are just like note pages, and I'm gonna rewrite my outline here and give myself some space to like write in the margins, because after I outline it chapter by chapter, because that's what I'm doing, I'm just making a chapter by chapter outline, I'm gonna identify a universal fantasy in every single chapter. And if it doesn't have a universal fantasy, then that means it's gonna need some rewriting. And it's a technique that's talked about a little bit in this book, and it's a technique that you're supposed to use when you outline your book for the first time, but I didn't know this was a technique until after I wrote the first draft. So I'm going to re-outline, identify a universal fantasy, and if I can't identify a universal fantasy, I'm going to make a note to myself to make changes. Plus, as I was rereading this book, I actually came up with a lot of ideas to add things to the book that I'm writing now, like different scenes, and to change current scenes. So that's what I want to do today, is that I'm just going to do some brainstorming and re-outlining and kind of making an editing plan. Mind you, it is January 19th, and I was supposed to start editing January 16th. So we're already 3 days behind. So we're just gonna try our darnest to catch up, because the goal was to finish this by the end of January. And I have tried my best to clear my schedule as much as possible to make this happen. But we'll see what happens. Come here. Hi. Oh my gosh. It's the next day, despite the fact that I'm wearing the same shirt, but it's fine. We don't like to do laundry. In doing the re-outlining and in identifying the universal fantasies, which I did here, this is everything, I realized there was 3 chapters in a row that just felt off. Like, I could kind of identify universal fantasy for them, but it felt like I was just repeating the same universal fantasy over and over and that it was dragging a bit. So those 3 chapters, which are currently chapters 25 through 27, are going to need some work. Those are the biggest ones. And then I think I mentioned in my last writing vlog that I didn't actually finish writing the first draft because just nothing felt right. Like, it all just felt wrong. And I finished outlining it, so I know exactly how I want it to end because I realized the issue. So I was having my 2 love interests kind of fight and the main character kind of self-sabotage, which does happen in real life, but in a book it doesn't always go over well. I know that was a struggle I had with Let the Rebel Fall, where the 2 main characters kind of bicker a bit, and it just makes it hard for readers to like really get into it. And you can do it. Like, I like to think that I fixed it for Let the Rebel Fall, and I've gotten really good reviews for Let the Rebel Fall, but I didn't want to do that again. Like, I was done making my characters fight. So I realized for romance, the best thing for romance is not to have the 2 love interests fight, but have the 2 love interests be together, but everything else is pulling them apart. So it's basically like them against the world. So in this case, we have Lori and the love interests, opposites attract. They really like each other, but life is just pulling them in 2 different directions. So that is basically the essence of this book. It's also a summer fling gone wrong. It's a fish out of water where Lori's experiencing a whole new world that she's like not used to. So that is the book in a nutshell. So I thought it would be fun. I'm not going to tell you guys much about the book besides that, but I am going to tell you some of the universal fantasies so you can kind of get a feel for what this book is all about. So we have a struggling main character and just being super relatable because Lori is like trying to graduate college early while also trying to work, while also trying to like start up her career. Like, she's just overwhelmed and stressed. So it's relatable and it's a universal fantasy for that reason. And then we have flirting with a stranger. Like, how many times have we all wanted to flirt with a stranger and for it to actually go well? And then we have unfamiliar world. So Lori stepping into a world that she's not used to. We have puppy love. So like when you first start dating a guy and you're just like head over heels for them. But not necessarily like for a particular reason, but just because, you know, they're a cute guy, that sort of puppy love. And then summer fling is another universal fantasy. Lusting after a guy that you can't have. Daring to go see the guy or make the first move. And then we have fish out of water. So that's again a big theme for this book is fish out of water. And essentially it's Lori just trying really hard to do things that the guy likes so that they can like have something to bond over, but she absolutely hates it. So there's actually way more universal fantasies than that. I went chapter by chapter and identified a universal fantasy for every single chapter. And honestly, I'm just really excited because the more I dive into this book, the more it's just like working together perfectly. I do have, like I said, there's like 3 chapters that are just kind of falling flat right now. So I don't know if I either need to delete them completely or like add something to spice them up. I do know the sense of conflict that's currently in the book I need to remove and replace with a different sense of conflict, which I think will make the characters way more likable and make the readers root for the characters and the relationship way more. So I'm so excited. And I also went ahead and I already wrote the book blurb for this book. It's definitely not done, but I wrote a very rough book blurb. I'm not going to read it to you guys because spoilers, but just know that I'm excited. So I did the outline, I wrote the book blurb, and I also made notes in the document as I was re-outlining it. So in my Word document, like whenever I knew for sure I needed to change something, I like wrote a note to myself. I wrote like when something was feeling like a little boring or whatever. I wrote down all the spots that definitely need to change, and there's a lot of them. But yeah, so I have my editing plan. I'm ready to move forward. Now the tricky part is is that I only really have like 6 ideal days to work on this book. Like, I really don't want to work on the weekend, but it's already, I think it's like the 20th or the 21st today, and I wanted to be finished by the 31st. I also didn't want to work weekends, and sometimes Mondays are really busy on just like catching up on emails and doing other stuff, so I don't know if I'd be able to work on it on a Monday either. So basically, I don't have a lot of days to work on this, so I did the math, and I would have to edit 6 chapters a day if I don't want to work weekends. So I think I'm going to attempt that, and that sounds like a lot, but I have tried really hard to go out of my way to clear my schedule, to get my cover design freelance stuff done early. I don't know what else I have going on in my life, but it's usually mostly that stresses me out. So I've tried really hard to clear my schedule, so then when I do actually work on this book, I can focus on it all day, just that. So we'll see if that happens.
Appalachian sunrise meets my skin. Even with my eyes still closed, I can feel it coming in. Golden, golden, I'll follow only golden, 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 golden things. Mountain laurel high fives for miles in spring. Rainbow trout and a hummingbird wing. Golden, I'll follow only golden, golden, golden things. Gold hair.
So I just finished day 1 of editing. I got my 6 chapters done. I'm very excited. And I actually put like from lunchtime till I go to bed aside for doing the editing. And I haven't even had dinner yet. So this means after dinner I have 2 options. Either get ahead on editing or catch up on everything that I'm behind on. Now truthfully, I feel like I should do editing, but I also know if I don't catch up on everything I'm behind on, I'm going to fall behind even more, and it'll make editing even harder later on. So I think after dinner, I'm going to do all my boring admin stuff that I'm falling behind on, like, the 50 emails in my inbox. But yeah. So as far as my editing process has been going, it's nothing fancy at this point. I go through my outline in my novel outline planner, and if I made notes in the planner, then I do those edits, but I actually haven't come across any notes yet. My first 6 chapters that I edited today, they're pretty solid. Like, I really like them, and I feel like they're ready for beta readers. I honestly, I'm sure there are things that beta readers will be like, oh, you should change this, which will be exciting, but I feel like overall, this is a really strong book, and it's not until, maybe a little bit past the midway that I need some major edits. But overall, I think the first half of this editing should be really strong. Sort of like when the first half of writing the book was really strong, and then it was like the second half of writing the book was a lot harder. That's when I know the book will be harder to write. But so far, I'm really excited about this book. And I feel like I don't often get really excited about my books. So when I'm this excited for my book, I'm like, this is great. If I'm this excited, readers will possibly even be more excited. Yesterday, I also went ahead and I set up a page in my writing planner to do my monthly spread to track my editing progress. So I have that page set up. I'm going to go pick out one of my editing tracker stickers, and I'm going to use those stickers to track how many chapters a day I edit. So yay! If you want any of the stickers that I featured in this video, you can get them at stoneridgestickers.com.
Gold rings, gold leaves, gold anything, golden, I'll follow only golden, golden, golden things.
So it's Monday. The last time I wrote was Friday. I did not finish as many chapters as I was supposed to because they just took way longer to edit because we've officially reached the hard to edit section of the book, which is great. So it's Monday now, and I plan on sending this book to beta readers on Friday. Now the issue is that when I made my little editing schedule for myself, I made it thinking like I need to edit 6 chapters a day. So if I edit 6 chapters a day, I would finish by Tuesday, which is tomorrow, which is great. But I forgot I did not finish writing Act 3. So I need to finish editing by Tuesday and then spend Wednesday, Thursday, Friday doing the final scenes that I need to add in, so then I can send the book to beta readers on Friday. So I didn't budget my time correctly, but I'm still feeling confident. So we'll just see what happens.
Everybody has their job, 9 to 5, and getting drained. They settle for second best, scared to risk what the future might bring. What the future might bring. I hold my breath, waiting for someone to knock at my door, telling me there is more waiting for me. Whoa.
Today's the last full day I have to finish editing this book. I'm on chapter 35. I haven't even added in the new scenes that I need to add in, but if I remember correctly, it's only like 1 or 2 chapters that need to be completely added in. So I'm about to start chapter 35 today out of like 36. So I think it's just this chapter and then one more that needs editing, and then just adding in chapters. So I'm in the final stretch. And I'm a little nervous because tomorrow I'm supposed to send my book to beta readers, but I also have to do a lot of other stuff tomorrow. So I really want to finish editing the book today, and then tomorrow doing all the prep for beta readers, because I create Google Forms and I have beta readers fill out those Google Forms, and then I use those Google Form feedback stuff as my feedback. So there's a form that they fill out like every 5 chapters. I embed the form into the book itself, so they just like click on the link, they're brought to the form. So that's tomorrow. So this has to be done today. And basically, if I'm gonna go over things, I have my spread for January, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and make a spread, oopsies, for February, because yesterday I edited chapters 32 through 34, and I wrote it on one of my editing stickers, but I didn't put it in because I was like, I need to set up the spread for February. So I think that's what I'm gonna do now, to get myself in the zone, and then I'm gonna go ahead and actually start editing and hope that we finish, because literally if I don't finish today, I'm just gonna have to tell my beta readers I need more time, which is fine, but you know, I don't want to. In other news, look at what came in. This is my book launch planner. So at the time of filming this, this released yesterday as I'm filming. And I am so excited because the hardcover edition came in early, and that never happens. So I'm just excited. So my book launch planner is the 3rd book in the book launch planner series. So here's the entire series. Got book 1, book 2, book 3. And technically they're not books, they're planners, but you get the idea. And it's my color scheme. They look fabulous together. So this is the one I'm currently using. We've got our novel outline one and our book launch one, and I'm so excited. You guys can get these in hardcover. These are the hardcover editions, or you can get them in paperback. It's really just like what your preference is and maybe what your budget is. I think the hardcover ones are the prettiest, but that's just me. Anyways, that's enough blabbing. I'm going to go ahead and set up this for the month of February. So let's go into my shipping area and grab some stickers for this planner.
If I love all the ways the world puts me to the test, if I embrace every fall, learn to grow and keep myself tall, would it hurt at all? I hold my breath, waiting for someone to knock at my door.
It is almost 10 p.m. and I'm done. I'm done. I finally wrote the last scene. All I needed to do was add in one more chapter. I am so happy. The funny part is the book got shorter, and I'm not really sure how I feel about that. I've always said the sweet spot for my books is 80,000 words. This book is 73,490 words. So like I feel a little weird about it being that short, but also like it's not that short. It's a rom-com. So there's not like any super complex plots. It's just like a love story with also like coming of age elements, which is the opposite sort of what Meet Me at the Summit and Let the Rebel Fall are. Those books are coming of age stories with romance elements, whereas this one, the primary is the romance and secondary is coming of age. So, anywho, I guess it's done. It feels done. I feel really good about it, if I'm going to be honest. The spots that needed the most rewriting, those are the only spots I feel a little fuzzy about, mostly because I'm not like completely sure if I did the rewriting successfully, but I always feel that way. Like whenever something needs heavy editing, it makes me like nervous. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to send this to beta readers tomorrow. If you guys want a video on my beta reader process, let me know. I will do a vlog about it. Otherwise, just know I'm very excited for this book. This is probably the most excited I've ever been for a book. Like, it's pretty close to how excited I was for Meet Me at the Summit, because I remember I was super, like, I fell head over heels for Meet Me at the Summit, but I also knew it was a very personal story, so I was like, if people don't like it, I don't care. Like, this is my story. And then for Let the Rebel Fall, I had a lot of mixed feelings because that was just a hard book to write. And now, this book, I'm head over heels for it. I think other people will be head over heels for it. I kind of figure out how, I need to figure out how I want to market it, because it can be read as a standalone, but it is with a character from the series. So I've always said it's book 3 in the series, but you can totally read this book before Meet Me at the Summit and Let the Rebel Fall. So I gotta figure out that. I might just call it a companion novel. I think I still might mark it as a series on Amazon. I have no clue. If you guys have advice, let me know. I know there are a few romance books that I've read that are like this, where it's like 2 books that use different characters but are in the same world. So I'm going to be doing that sort of research. But otherwise, that's it for this video. I'm feeling super motivated, and hopefully you guys feel super motivated.